Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is Dr. Shahana. Today we are discussing the angina pectoris. We have gone through the basic details of the angina pectoris, that is the pathophysiology, its treatment approaches, and several types of treatment available. Now we are revising these. The book is the Roger and Walker. वहाँ से आपने इसको देखना है. This is the revision of the commonly used drugs for the angina. The first choice is the glycerol trinitrate, abbreviated as GTN. The route may be intravenous or transdermal in case of emergency. The speed of the onset is the immediate. Sustained release tablets and capsules are also available, and however for the outpatient person, the drugs are available as a sublingual tablets, and the onset of effect is about 1 to 4 minutes. The duration of action is less than 30 minutes. In case of transdermal and in case of intravenous infusion, the duration of action is persist. Especially in case of the transdermal, the duration is extended up to the 24 hours. However, in case of the IV and transdermal, the chances is the development of the tolerance due to the continuous supply. Continuous supply होगा तो फिर ये useless हो जाएंगे, इसलिए इनको हम emergency में बिल्कुल इनिशियल के लिए रखते हैं ताकि उसका जो पेन है वो रिड्यूस हो जाए. Then we will go for the oral tablets or sublingual tablets. It is also available as a buccal tablets. Previous choice was the isosorbide dinitrate and the isosorbide mononitrate. The preference of that, the use of these nitrates are less prone to the for the headaches as compared to the trinitrate, and sustained release tablets are also available. Table 1 of the chapter are basically showing the risk factors. You have to go through that. In the current lecture, we are discussing the table 20.2, and this shows the properties and the pharmacokinetics of the beta blockers. You must know that some beta blockers like atenolol is beta 1 selective, bisoprolol is also a beta 1 selective with no ISA, no restricting symptomatic activity. However, cartilolol is beta 1 and beta 2 non-selective, however have a ISA activity. Then we have the smolol, it also don't have ISA, and we have pindolol, which is beta 1 and beta 2 effect, however it has a positive effect on the ISA. You should remember that. मोस्ट कॉमनली जो हम यूज करेंगे उसमें हमारे पास इंस्ट्रिंसिक सिम्पैथोमिमेटिक बीटा ब्लॉकर्स बहुत ही कम हैं. दे आर वेरी फ्यू इन नंबर. अमंग देम पिंडोलॉल इज द मोस्ट इफेक्टिव वन. Acute syndrome is very difficult to manage, and basically it is managed by the glycerol trinitrate, and furthermore if there is acute myocardial infarction or other ST elevation myocardial infarction, or there is acute myocardial infarction, this may develop the different effects are observed on the ECG regarding the ST segment elevation. The primary reason is also for the acute coronary syndrome is the rupture of an unstable atheromatous plaque. When it is ruptured, this exposes the cholesterol-rich plaque in the blood. This resulting in the initiation of the activation of the platelet and eventually thrombus formation. And the volume of the eventual thrombus and the time the vessel is occluded determine the degree of myocardial necrosis that occur. दो चीजें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि what is the quantity of the thrombus and how it much time has been passed, कि कितना टाइम हो चुका है नेक्रोसिस को. तो patient with an occluded artery will suffer severe myocardial damage that extend determine the duration of the side of the occlusion. What is the primary strategy? The primary strategy is to restore the coronary flow. That is either achieved by the use of the fibrinolytic agent or by the primary angioplasty. If coronary artery is patent, then fibrolysis is unnecessary or maybe it is harmful. So in case of chest pain, there may be an immediate admission required in an hospital, and there is a suspicion of the acute coronary syndrome. ECG will be evaluated immediately, and if there is a persistent ST evaluation, there may be ST abnormalities, and there may be a normal ECG that will be followed by the level of the troponins. Troponins का हम level कराते हैं हार्ट पेशेंट के लिए, and अगर troponin पॉजिटिव है इट मीन्स कि हार्ट अटैक आ चुका है, और there may be a chance of troponin negative. Then there may be risk stratification. If troponin is positive, it means the body is going to the heart attack, heart failure. There is a high risk. If troponin is negative, there is low risk. And the diagnosis either will be the ST elevated myocardial infarction, non-ST elevated myocardial infarction, or unstable angina. 3 ऑप्शन हमारे पास हो सकते हैं. So for that purpose, either the treatment is reperfusion, invasive or non-invasive. Invasive में हम angioplasty की तरफ जाएंगे. So this is the spectrum of the acute coronary syndrome. So remember, if the coronary artery is patent, it's closed, then fibrinolytic will not use. When the vessel is open, for both groups, the patient management focusing on the unstable coronary plaque. Troponin is an enzyme that are cardiac muscles, or it is a protein which are released from the myocardial damaged cell and are highly sensitive and specific for the myocardial infarction. It is basically used for the diagnosing the patient with the acute coronary syndrome, and it is a predictor predicting the response of the drug therapy as well. However, it is also replaced by other types of tests like creatinine kinases, aspartate transaminases and lactate dehydrogenase. उनकी levels भी हम करवा सकते हैं. लेकिन सबसे अच्छा effective effects जो है वो troponin का है. Now the person is undergoing to myocardial infarction, and there are several types of techniques are also available. There are certain types of upper reference limit and lower reference limit, and for that purpose जब भी हम केस स्टडी हम डिस्कस करेंगे तो हम ECG देखेंगे, और उसके साथ साथ हम उसकी QT ST एलिवेशन देखेंगे कि ST एलिवेटेड तो नहीं है. और आपका ये असाइनमेंट है आज की क्लास का कि आप नॉर्मल ECG और ST एलिवेटेड जो है मायोकार्डियल इन्फार्क्शन एंड नॉन ST एलिवेटेड मायोकार्डियल इन्फार्क्शन की पिक्चर्स निकाल के आप गूगल क्लास पे अपने अपने उसमें कमेंट में लगाएं. वहां पे मैंने इसका स्ट्रीम में लगा दें आप, वहां पे मैंने इसको ब्लॉक नहीं किया हुआ. टाइम इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज mortality rates are very high. About 50% going under the acute coronary syndromes are supposed to be die within 2 hours of the attack. Time is very important. The most problematic thing is the occurrence of the ventricular fibrillation that is usually occur within first few hours, which has to be stopped by drug management or by a hospital administration. And if the patient are on the without persistent ST elevation, it means that they may have undergo the temporary myocardial damage, but this damage is not permanent. इतना problematic अभी नहीं हुआ है, and there is a chance of the emboli from that plaque that is blocking the vessels. The most problematic condition is for the ST elevation, and however now another approach is that non-ST elevated myocardial infarction is also lead to the mortality of a person. As we have to provide what are the treatment goals, it has basically 3 types of treatment goals that we have to provide immediate care to alleviate pain, prevent deterioration and improve the cardiac functions, manage complications especially heart failures and arrhythmias, and prevent further infarction or death, that is the secondary prophylaxis. We will separately discuss the heart failure and the arrhythmias, और हम extensively discuss नहीं करेंगे अभी, लेकिन चूंकि arrhythmias हमारे टॉपिक में उस तरह शामिल नहीं है, लेकिन चूंकि हमारे साथ interlinked cardiovascular disease में तो we should cover arrhythmias as well. Other aims are to relieve the pain, return the patency to coronary arteries, and to minimize the infarct size and provide prophylaxis to arrhythmias, and institute the secondary prevention. Patency means कि ये open rahe coronary artery. For immediate reliever we use triglyceride trinitrates IV. हॉस्पिटल में यूज करेंगे अगर पॉसिबल है, और घर से अगर वो यूज करता हुआ है तो मे बी उसने अगर बक्कल टैबलेट्स ली हैं, देन वी विल मूव टू दी symptomatic treatment of the administration of the morphine along with the antiemetics. This is the summary of the treatment approaches of the acute coronary syndrome. If there is ST elevation, increased troponin, there will be the ST elevated myocardial infarction, and we will go for the treatment of the thrombolysis or primary angioplasty. If there is no ST elevation, no troponins, however with increased troponin, or there will be no troponin that related to the unstable angina, then we will follow the non-ST elevation protocol. For ST elevation, we are going for the pain reliever along with the antiplatelet therapy. Use of the aspirin or clopidogrel is recommended with quick restoring of the coronary flow and the myocardial tissue perfusion. Use of aspirin and along with the fibrinolytics is also a good combination that reduce the mortality rate, especially up to the 10% to up to 10%. Percutaneous coronary intervention (PCI), which is commonly called as the angioplasty, in normal condition in which the person undergo stent insertion without the prior or concomitant fibrinolytic therapy. That is been demonstrated the superiority to the fibrinolytic therapy when it can be performed by an experienced team in a hospital. So in case of the acute attacks, the preference काम क्या है करेंगे कि वो PCI कर लेंगे. PCI क्या है? It is the percutaneous coronary intervention. It is a 24-hour program in which angioplasty is better than the fibrinolytic therapy, and it reduces the mortality and the reinfarction and other complication that is basically related to the fibrinolytic therapy. The target is the time, which is very important, that should be less than 2 hours. The balloon is inserted. Facilitated percutaneous intervention involves the use of fibrinolytic to achieve the reperfusion prior to a planned PCI, and there may be a rescue PCI. आप इसको देख लीजिए, एक बलून टाइप का स्टंट होता है, उसके अंदर जाते हैं, वो बलून उसको जो है वो जो प्लेटलेट पोर्शन थ्रोम्बस पोर्शन होता है उसको जो है वो कैप्चर कर लेता है, जिससे फिर ये रिमूव हो जाती है बॉडी से. दिस इन्वेजिव प्रोसीजर इम्प्रूव द कार्डियक ब्लड फ्लो डिलीवरी बाय ओपनिंग द ब्लड वेसल, एंड it stenosis coronary artery is open now, and now it is better than the bypass surgery. Only the coronary vessels is replaced. We will go through the all details of the PCI in this chapter. These are some fibrinolytics which may consider during the therapy: streptokinases, altiplase, retiplase, and taniktipase. Streptokinase was the first fibrinolytic agent that can lead to the however the adverse effect is the bleeding problems. Altiplase is more specific to the thrombotic fibrin, and it produces the good fibrinolysis. However, then we have the retiplase and the taniktipase, which are also good for the they are basically altiplase, retiplase, and taniktipase are the tissue plasminogen activator, and it is a series proteases originally derived from the human melanoma cells. It is somewhat similar to the genetic engineer recombinant technology (TPA). This taniktipase is or altiplase are affinity to bind with the fibrin, and while if we talk about the taniktipase, it is more selective to the fibrin of the thrombus. It has good affinity, greater binding, and longer duration, longer half-life. It rapidly activates, but problem is that it also rapidly activates the plasminogen, and that is bound to fibrin in a thrombus or hemostatic plug. We can say that altiplase is said to be fibrin selective at low dose only, and altiplase is basically approved for the treatment of myocardial infarction, ischemic stroke. However, in case of deep vein thrombosis and in case of pulmonary embolism, they are also prescribed. So I am revising the things that streptokinase is basically a drug that is an extracellular protein purified from the culture of the both group C hemolytic streptococci, and it is basically somewhat non-selective, having a longer duration of action. However, altiplase is also called as the tissue plasminogen activator, is derived from cultured human melanoma. It is the problem with the altiplase is that it has a shorter duration of action, and it is basically reserved for the IV administration at the time of the emergency. It is continuously infused over the 60 minutes, while ratiplase and tenecteplase, having a good type of the half-life, they are preferred on the altiplase. They are preferred because of if the route of administration is not IV, or they can easily administer through the IV bolus route. Hepatically, ratiplase is renally cleared and tenecteplase is hepatically cleared. And the enzyme is there, which is the urokinase, that is isolated from the human kidney. This urokinase cleaves the directly arginine valine bound type of the plasminogen, and it is only approved for the pulmonary emboli. अगर pulmonary emboli होगा तो फिर urokinase will be the drug of choice. Among them, streptokinase is antigenic in nature, and there may be a chances of the anaphylaxis. You can see the changing in the dosing of these thrombolytics. If we talk about the PCI, which is the percutaneous intervention, there is a catheter insertion in the lumen of the artery. There is turned basically over the last 10 years, it increases the chancing of the life. About successful rate इसका जो है वो about 95% है. Moreover, after the insertion of the stent, there is a short-term risk of the thrombus formation until the endothelium lining of the blood vessels has been re-established. अभी blood vessels जो है वो re-establish नहीं हुई है. So the combination of the clopidogrel, that is the 600 mg initiated pre-procedure and 75 mg daily thereafter, which is an antiplatelet therapy, and aspirin has been shown to reduce the risk of the myocardial infarction. Furthermore, antiplatelet therapy should be given to the patient, that is the 30 mg of aspirin and 600 mg of the clopidogrel. Previously mentioned are the oral antiplatelet therapy. If we talk about the anticoagulants, there are two types of anticoagulants, warfarin type and heparin type. So question arises in our mind that either we can use the heparin or not. Then yes, heparin can be administered during this procedure, and it is basically depending upon to titrate to maintain an activated clotting time of 250 to 350 seconds. हमें जो है सर्जरी के दौरान इसमें जो है मेंटेन रखना है 250 to 350, which is glycoprotein 2B3A receptor antagonist. Another drug which is the abciximab, glycoprotein 2B3A receptor antagonist, is more preferred over the heparin during this procedure, that maintain the target of the activated clotting time between 200 to 250 seconds. Then we have another type of the anticoagulant, which is the bivalirudin, which is the direct thrombin inhibitors. It's also demonstrating the less bleeding tendency as compared to abciximab. Here we have to revise our anticoagulant drugs जो कि आपने फार्माकोलॉजी में पढ़ी हैं. तो तमाम दो ड्रग्स जो कि एंटीकोगुलेंट ड्रग्स हैं, आप उनके मैकेनिज्म्स, उनकी साइड इफेक्ट्स, उनके एडवर्स इफेक्ट्स, यू हैव टू गो थ्रू देम फ्रॉम द लिपिनकॉट. We have several types of heparin. Heparin is basically available in only in injectable form, a rapid acting anticoagulant, and basically reserved for the acute thrombus. Warfarin, which is a vitamin K antagonist, is not usually recommended for the acute intravenous procedures because of its oral administration and because of its slow effects, which usually appear after the 5 days. So in this case, these three drugs, that is heparin, amliximab, and the bivalirudin, is preferred. You should remember that all anticoagulants have a side effects or adverse effect of the bleeding. There is a chance of the bleeding. Half-life of bivalirudin is 25 minutes and it is isolated from the leech saliva. It is the isomer of the hirudin and analog of the hirudin, parenteral anticoagulant. Parenterally ही दे सकते हैं, orally नहीं जाता. Furthermore, certain vasodilators are also administered, just like adenosine, just like CCB, like verapamil, negorandil, papaverine, and nitroprusside during and after the PCI, and it is basically to improve the blood flow in the infarct area, especially in the myocardial perfusion areas. Fibrinolytics agents are of two types, that are fibrin specific, as we have discussed, and fibrin non-specific, that is streptokinase. These are some contraindications of the fibrinolytic activities, that is hemorrhages, ischemia, stroke, CNS damage, or any other recent major trauma or surgery or head injury, GI bleeding, or any other bleeding disorders. The most important adverse effect is the GI bleeding, and there is especially in case if they are administered through IV route. And streptokinase also induces the cross reaction antibodies reaction and an anaphylactic response. There may be a fever, there may be any allergic reactions. For that, hydrocortisone usually administered to reduce the allergic response if they are using the streptokinase. However, hypotension should also be properly carefully monitored. Fondaparinux, a synthetic indirect anti-10A agent, are also found to be superior to the heparin in preventing the death in case of the patient who have receiving the fibrinolytic therapy. While bivalirudin is a direct thrombin inhibitor that reduces the reinfarction rate as compared to the heparin, along with the streptokinase. In elderly patient, there is no contraindication regarding the fibrinolytic drugs. However, alteplase and tenecteplase, the dose should be adjusted according to the body weight. Cardiologists should consider or check the conditions in which the fibrinolytic therapy is contraindicated or not, and it should also check its benefits that may outweigh the risk. If there is more chances of the bleeding, primary angioplasty should be considered. In such situation, beta blockers are contraindicated because of the cardiovascular and respiratory depression, as well as the verapamil. However, verapamil is can use, however it should be avoided. Diltiazem are found less effective and may use as an alternative. Other blockers are also there, like calcium channel blockers like nifedipine. However, they also increase the mortality rate. Sometimes magnesium infusions look promising when they are given in earlier infarctions. However, no reduction in the mortality rate after the magnesium infusions. आप देखेंगे जब आप अगर इमरजेंसी की केस रेडी करेंगे उसमें अक्सर मैग्नीशियम को इन्फ्यूज़ करते हैं, तो मैग्नीशियम से और सॉर्बिटॉल से स्ट्रोक के जो पेशेंट्स होते हैं उनमें कोई इफेक्टिवनेस नहीं आती. Don't use the insulin in STMI patient. It doesn't increase the it does not decrease the mortality rate. However, if the person is diabetic, then the good choice is the insulin, and it's basically administered for the duration of 3 months at least to save the life. For prevention of the secondary complications or any other attack of the acute coronary syndrome, lipid lowering agent should be prescribed. Sometimes angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors are also used for about the duration of 4 to 6 weeks to prevent any other attack of the myocardial infarction. Abiraterone is basically aldosterone antagonist, and they also helpful for the improved survival and decrease cardiovascular mortality in hospitalization patient. And however, it may cause severe hyperkalemia, which need to be monitored. We need monitoring of the serum potassium levels. Then antidepressant should be used as anxiety is there. If the person is suffering from myocardial infarction, there is a severe depression. To maintain the severe depression, we basically use these selective serotonin receptor inhibitors instead of the tricyclic TCA. TCA हम prefer नहीं करेंगे because of the chances of the arrhythmias. There is a chances of the arrhythmia. We prefer the SSRIs. We can use nitrates for prophylaxis, and for that purpose sublingual nitrates are preferred. For preventive purpose, warfarin is not recommended. Rather than we use aspirin or we use clopidogrel. Always mainly aspirin is used unless and until it is contraindicated. In case of GI ulcer, it is contraindicated. Then we switch to clopidogrel, who is not blocking the COX enzyme, and जो protective prostaglandins हैं they are remain in the GI ulcer के केस में हम aspirin पर contraindicated हो जाएगी. What is the treatment of non-ST elevation acute coronary syndrome? If we talk about the non-ST elevating acute coronary syndrome, it is basically defined as the angina that occurs at rest or with minimum exertion or a new onset of the severe one. And it is the most severe manifestation of the acute coronary syndrome. Mortality rate is about 15 to 30% at 30 days. बहुत ज़्यादा इसका मोर्टेलिटी हाई है. ट्रीटमेंट इज दी एक्सटेंसिव एंजियोप्लास्टी, बहुत ही क्विक एंजियोप्लास्टी करनी पड़ेगी along with the adjuvant drug therapies like clopidogrel and glycoprotein 2B3AB antagonist and anticoagulant drugs. What are the choice of the antiplatelets and anticoagulants? Definitely starting from the aspirin alone, and low molecular weight heparin, enoxaparin has demonstrated superiority over the heparin. And we have the clopidogrel with a loading dose of 300 mg followed by the 75 mg daily in combination with aspirin and heparin, which is called as a triple therapy. And this clopidogrel need to be continuously used for at least 1 year, and it should be stopped 5 to 7 days before or any major surgery to reduce the risk of the bleeding. Glycoprotein 2B3A inhibitors are also helpful for that, and that for that purpose we have the abciximab, which is a synthetic peptide. For example, aptifimab, a non-peptide synthetic, for example triofaban. These are the oral agents. However, these are the IV agents. Oral agents are found to be ineffective. High risk patient, we have the PCI, that is the percutaneous intervention along with the triple therapy of the heparin, antiplatelet therapy, aspirin, clopidogrel and glycoprotein 2B3A inhibitor abciximab. उनको तीनों को मिलाकर देंगे, या डोज डुअल एंटीप्लेटलेट थेरेपी एस्पिरिन along with the clopidogrel are found to be helpful. Prasugrel can be used at a faster time to produce its maximum effect. So you have to go on through all types of anticoagulants for that purpose. This is the summary of the therapy that starts from the aspirin followed by the enoxaparin or ultra UFH और bivalirudin, और आफ्टर 20, इफ़ अगर 24 आवर के अंदर है तो हम ये थेरेपी करेंगे. आफ्टर 24 आवर है देन इट विल फॉलोड बाय द इनॉक्साफेरिन और अल्ट्रा एफ हेपेरिन एंड फोंडापेरिनॉक्स एंड बाइलेरुबिन. अगर डिलेड इंटरवेंशन है बहुत ज़्यादा देन वी विल यूज दी प्रासुगुरल 60 mg, और थर्ड चॉइस विल बी थी क्लोपिड्रोजल. All these three treatments will be followed by the continuous aspirin use, that is 75 mg, and the clopidogrel 70 mg or prasugrel 10 mg daily. These are the treatment options for the unstable angina or non-STMI in relation to the PCI intervention. Furthermore, anti-ischemic drugs like beta blockers and nitrates can be used according to the need of the person. Statin can be used. Other lifetime management should be considered, like increased exercise, decreased smoking, etc. Lifestyle management should be there to reduce the symptoms or to reduce the acute attacks. Thank you. It's all about the acute coronary syndrome.